right. What's up, everybody? This is Joe
Geo, Ed,
from Pissing Razors,
Raiders,
and you're watching Aftershocks TV.
TV, baby.
All right, so let's go ahead and switch gears here. Now, the next topic here, this is the festival, Sick New World. They've had a couple, I think, year run. I think they've done 2 years so far, and 2025 is going to be the third third event here for Sick New World. And so let's take a look. I just wanted to take a little bit of a time to look at this lineup. Now, I remember when it came out a couple of years ago. This is obviously the festival that's in Vegas every, I think, April and May. It looks like April 12th. It's going to be held in 2025. When it first started, it was a pure, and I mean pure, new metal festival.
Yeah.
There was nothing but new metal. It was old 90s and alternative, new metal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, last year it was about the same kind of thing. They sprinkled in a couple other little bands in there. This year, this is to me like a whole new thing. This is like a European festival, and to be honest with you, I think it's pretty damn good. I mean, if you look at this lineup, now of course you're going to get your big kahunas, the Metallica, Linkin Park, Queens of the Stone Age, so forth. But if you look at these bands in there, you've got a little bit of absolutely everything from the 90s and early 2000s. Everything.
Yeah.
I mean, industrial, new metal, thrash, punk, alternative. I mean, sludge, doom. I mean, radio rock. Even got I guess 311 would be considered like a new metal type of thing, a 90s thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, even like the Hives and stuff, I mean, it's really, all over the place, And
I hadn't really looked at this until right now. And I'm like, God damn, there's a lot of good bands on this thing.
A lot of good bands, man. This is something I'm not into these festivals.
Yeah,
I mean, it reminds me of like Aftershock, but only one day of it. But that's
this is all one day.
This is just one day.
Holy smokes!
This is one day.
Is this?
This
Five?
is well, me and Tom, we did a little thing on this last year on the Sick New World, and they have like revolving stages.
Okay.
So a band will play, and boom, right after 20 minutes at the other stage, another one. Boom. So it's literally boom, boom, boom. I think it's revolves.
Okay.
So one band plays, boom, next one's on. Because we were trying to find out the time. Like, there's no way they could do this unless it was like that. But but I guess that's how it is, and I don't know if I think they have to have multiple stages. There's no way they can all be playing at once. It's got to be overlapping. There's no doubt.
Unless it's like a stage that literally just turns around and goes.
That's what I heard, but I think even that we did the math. If every band played like 20 minutes, which it usually is about 20, 25 minutes,
sure.
I still don't think there was enough time in the day last year to do it.
Starts at 8 a.m.
It'd have to have been like 8 to midnight for it all to fit in there, dude. There's still too many bands in there, man.
Right.
But like I said, I'm definitely impressed with this lineup. I mean, like I said, even Death Metal, you got Cannibal Corpse in there. Now the only one that sticks out to me, I'm like, wait, what the fuck is that? Is the Flaming Lips being in there? I don't know how you. I know that's technically alternative, but they're not a heavy band. These other bands have some heaviness to them,
But you can put them next to Orgy and, just picking and choosing from this list.
Yeah.
You could put them and Orgy kind of back to back, and that wouldn't be so bad.
I guess, yeah. I mean, I'm looking at anything else that kind of stands out.
Filter could be right by them as well.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, but it's interesting.
3 Days Grace.
Yeah. But what's interesting? I remember we were looking last year at this, and I remember down on the bottom here was Fear Factor. I remember because we did something on Fear Factory,
right.
But now I'm looking at some of the bands on the bottom here. Machine Head is down there. Interesting. Below Kitty, below Cradle of Filth and Tomahawk and Melvins, and I mean. It's just interesting. You know what I mean? Some bands who were lower on the list there that I was expecting to be a little bit higher.
Well, I mean, in the Machine Head case, as much as me and you, I think, both love the record that they did. I love that record.
Not me. I don't.
Oh, you didn't love it? I loved that record. I hated Catharsis, but whatever the one, what was it called? Blood Bloodstone or something. I don't. I loved it so much I don't know the name, so that should tell you something, I guess. But I think it's a good record. But I honestly, I think part of it with Machine Head is the politics is caught up.
I think
with Rob
so.
Flynn.
I think you're right.
I think people are just done being preached at.
Mhm.
They're just done with it, and they're not supporting it like they used to. And you can get a band that's kind of tried and true like Machine Head, but has pissed off half their audience.
Mhm.
Or you can get a band that people haven't seen in 25 years, like Kitty.
Mhm.
There's that reunion excitement to it. It's also chicks, so that works in today's world too. So yeah, I could see Kitty being ahead of it. I could see Tomahawk because Mike Patton doesn't do Tomahawk very often.
That is true. No, you're right. That's a big one. When's the last time Tomahawk did a show, man?
Yeah, I mean he's been doing the Mr. Bungle stuff for,
Mhm.
and apparently now that one of his Mr. Bungle guys murdered his girlfriend, he has to kind of get away from that name for a little bit.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's why he's doing.
That's why he's doing Tomahawk.
I know.
It's like, well, I can't go out and tour that for a minute.
That guy, man, he's had a string of bad luck, man. I'll tell you that, dude. It's really. I mean, and 3 Days Grace. I know they got back, but I think they're. It says 2X. Well, here it says 2X. Does that mean, I guess, just a reformation with Adam? You see that?
Maybe.
Interesting.
I don't know.
And he's a really good singer. That guy. I mean, I liked some of their stuff when he was with them. I'm not a huge fan of them, but
I wonder if it means two singers. Because from what I saw, they didn't fire the current. The guy that's been the singer.
Maybe
they
that's
just
what it
brought
is.
the other guy back in. So they're going
That could be
to
it.
kind of switch vocals or something. I don't know.
Could be it. Yeah. But I mean, they've got even Stoner and Doomie. They got Down. They got the Melvins. I mean, that's in that arena. Under Oath. That's been a name I haven't heard in a while. Mayhem. I mean, Mayhem and, Quick. That's what I'm saying. Quicksand they got in there. Sponge, the two alternative bands from the early 90s. Yeah, I mean, like I said, this is a pretty. Now, what's kind of interesting too about this? It's not a Danny Wimmer production. Can you believe it? I mean,
I'm happy about that.
I am too. I am too. That's what I mean. Exactly. I'm very happy about that. Now, how long does this stay around without that? I mean, the fact that they got Metallica, I mean, it says a lot. But you know what we've seen now? But here's the thing: we've seen these festivals over the years start out like this. They get a good 3 to 4 year run going. It keeps improving, better bands, yada yada yada, and then crash. Especially in Vegas, we saw that with So that was Psycho Vegas. You remember that Psycho Vegas one?
Yeah.
They had Megadeth, they had Alice Cooper, they had all these bigger bands, and then boom, out of nowhere, that thing is done. Out of nowhere, it just stopped a couple of years ago during the pandemic. So it's interesting to see. Okay, can this thing continue? I remember because my old partner on the Heavy Galaxy there, John Gist, he lives like right across the street from where this festival is, and he went to the first one. He got free tickets, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to go check it out." He went out, and he said it was cool. He said, but obviously the heat is a major thing. I mean, you're talking about April in Vegas; it's already scorching hot, and then on top of that, he was saying that the only two things that they served to drink there was water and Bud Light.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So I mean, pick your choice.
So you had a lot of hot, super drunk guys and a lot of dehydrated chicks.
Well, I won't even see soup because can you get super drunk off of Bud Light? I can't.
Well, if you drink 30 of them.
You got to drink 20 of those things when they're about $15 a pop, though. You know what I mean? At least $15.
Yeah, that is true.
I would say, for that reason, I hate to say it, but I don't think I'd go to this just for that reason.
Yeah, I wouldn't go.
I mean,
that was on like a big tarmac or something, right? Isn't that? Like
Well, that's the thing.
It's
it's in a big field, but there's no cover. It's blazing, scorching hot with that Vegas, desert heat blaring on you there all day. I mean, again, look, I mean, I just went. I mean, this is the thing about we've talked about this with festival. I just went this past weekend down to San Diego to see this, underground, heavy rock festival they have every year called the SoCal Heavy Jam. And dude, when we're filming, obviously a couple of the bands for the lifers for the documentary, and I'll tell you, man, we didn't make it to the end. We didn't. I mean, there was only 9 bands, but after 7, man, we were just done. And it had nothing to do with the bands. I wanted to see them, but we were just toast. I mean, that's a long day I mean, we were obviously doing filming, so we were doing some work there too. But I was drinking plenty, having a
Sure.
good time and stuff. And it was just we were done, dude. So it's like, how could you remember this? This is a '90s themed, festival. You got a bunch of old fucks like us there,
Yeah,
man.
exactly.
Mostly.
These aren't 20-year-olds. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, you could sit there and you have no problem sitting there all day. But so I mean, it's just again, interesting. I don't know if I would
Yeah.
pay to go see this, but I do like the lineup. I like that it's not Danny Wimmer. And I hope this continues because, like I said, I really am impressed with that lineup, man. I really am.
I love that it's not Wimmer. I'm gonna be honest. I hope none of them continue, including Danny Wimmer. I hate the festivals.
I do too.
festivals. One, the people that are I'm a believer that the younger kids just don't give a shit about rock, like live rock, like we do, which means it's an old man's game. And
Yep.
old men, I hate to say it, we have to have seats. We have
Yeah.
to have chairs.
Totally.
And I don't care who you are. If you're in your late 40s to older,
You're
you
back.
you don't want to see 60 bands.
No, man, no way.
You
No
just
fucking
don't. You can't. You literally can't. Even if you're in a chair. I
Don't
mean,
matter.
I used to go to the Rock on the Range stuff when I was in my mid 40s, so
Mhm.
8 years ago.
Mhm.
And I sat for a good portion of it. And I still came out of it like I'd played in a football league. I just came out of it all sore and hurting. And honestly, I didn't enjoy a lot of the bands that much because it was more like, it's fucking hot. I'd rather go and do something. We're used to being comfortable.
Exactly.
And this shit ain't comfortable.
It is not comfortable.
60 bands and let's face it, a show like this, I could just tell you right away. I can look at this and see half a dozen bands where the audience are just dicks. A band, the audience for Meshuggah, just dicks. The audience for Testament, just dicks.
Yeah,
Exodus,
yep.
just dicks.
A lot of the
Probably
metal ones.
Metallica.
Sure.
You're going to get the young kids that are going to push the old guys back so that they can sing The Memory Remains with James Hetfield.
Agreed. Yep.
I mean, it's just going to be, there's a lot of dickiness. Down brings that Pantera crowd.
Sure.
That's not the friendliest crowd in the bunch
No,
either.
it's not. Exodus, I mean, yeah. Terror, that's a hardcore crowd.
A returning Acid Bath after however many years, those fans are going to be stupid.
Oh, yes.
Stupid crazy.
Stupid crazy, yep.
Although I'm excited about that. I hope they do more.
Who's that, Acid Bath?
Acid Bath,
Yes, we're going to get to them in just a second. That's the band I was referring to before. But
Okay.
yeah, well, that's the thing with the festivals, man. I mean, like you said, I used to love, obviously, like say, just take back in the day, we had Ozfest, right? Yeah, I used to love Ozfest. It was an all-day thing.
Sure.
But one of the things we also liked about it back then was that social component. We were all young, single, and looking for chicks and looking to get drunk and fucked up. And we loved to do it. It was an adventure all day. You had all day to do it. And that's what you look forward to. But like you said, when old fucks go to shows, I don't want any of that crap. I don't care about meeting anybody. I just want to see the fucking band, see it, watch it, see it, get a nice buzz, and go home.
Right.
In and out, lickety split. And that's the thing too. You're talking about parking. You're talking about the walking to get to it and back and forth. It's just, I'm just curious to see how long these kind of things are going to last, man.
I can't see it. You know what the other thing that was cool, even with Ozfest or Mayhem Festival or any of those 90s festivals, was that is not at all available here. You could meet some of the bands. The bands would be walking around after. I mean, not the headliners, obviously.
No.
Black Sabbath weren't wandering around buying beers and checking it out, but you could meet a young Slipknot at the time, or God Forbid, or Devil Driver, or whatever. Those guys would just be hanging out, or Pressure 4-5 when that was a band, and those guys would play and come out. You could meet a lot of those bands. Now, at this kind of a festival like a Sick New World, I guarantee you there's this band will be signing at 2:45 over at this tent, and only $20, and you can get your picture taken with them. It's all money now.
Yes.
And they've taken the the fun. Part of the fun was that, oh man, I might meet Megadeth today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was part of it. And then part of your day was, wow, Megadeth's going to be signing at 6 o'clock. Let me get over there. Maybe I can catch him walking in or something, you know.
Yeah.
That's gone.
No, you're right. I remember at Ozfest, they had that second stage, and at second stage you had all the upcoming bands. And
Yeah.
I remember those bands like Reveille and a couple of these other bands.
Sure.
They were out there signing stuff right behind the stage. Once that show and the second stage was done, you turn around, and whatever band was on before them was there signing the stuff. Absolutely. And meeting everybody. And that's the thing too. Back then, we wanted to meet those bands. We wanted to tell them, we love you guys. We don't care about that anymore,
No,
man.
we
Yeah, I
don't.
mean, we don't. I mean, I know some people do, and if they do, like you said, they're going to pay the money
they'll
for
pay
the meet and
money
greets.
for it, yeah. But
Exactly.
the bulk of them, truth be told, we don't have to meet them anymore because we just follow them on fucking social media and know what they ate for dinner.
Exactly.
You know, you don't need to. You don't need a meet and greet anymore. It's not special to, you know, in today's world. If you tell somebody, "Oh, guess who I fucking met? I met what's his name from Mastodon." You know, oh, did you? How about that?
That's great.
I follow him on Facebook. He seems cool.
Yeah. Oh, I got my picture. I got my picture taken with him. I just showed. It's like,
yeah.
Okay, cool. It's true.
Right.
You're right. Back then, you're right. If you met or you knew someone or whatever it was, and they knew, it was a big deal. Your friends were like, "Damn, you know that guy? He said hi to you. He knew your name. Wow, man, you felt special. You felt cool." It doesn't mean shit anymore. I mean, we've talked about just in general, all this stuff in a lot of ways doesn't mean anything. You know, it's entertainment now. It really is pure entertainment. But like you said, when we were younger, it was everything to us. Right? We'd wake up and think about this stuff, and we'd look for that new edition of the new magazine, whatever it was, your Kerrang or your Hit Parade or whatever metal. Whatever, any of those metal magazines, you were always just looking to find out new information, going to websites, meeting them, asking them questions, all that stuff. Now, like you said, you click on one button, you can see everything. It's not a big deal, especially anymore.
And I mean, with a lot of the band, I'll use Fear Factory as a prime example. If you want to know something about Fear Factory, you can just put in at Dino Cazares, "Hey Dino, what about blah 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 blah," and he'll answer it.
Exactly.
You know, so why do I need to go and stand in line and spend $30 to meet Dino?
Exactly.
I'll just ask him what I want to know on Twitter, and he'll answer. So the specialness. I was talking to a friend the other day. We were talking about sports, not this, but I think it's the same point. The specialness of entertainment
in general
left about 15 years ago, like
really
completely left. Once social media became the overwhelming arc of communication, all of it was gone. It's all just disposable.
Well, the mystique was gone of who these people were. And a lot of them we don't like. That's the thing. That's
it too. Yeah.
They get on there and you're like, this guy's a dick. And then when you see more people are not likable and affable individuals, you're just like, well, what is this? Isn't what I really, I guess. I think it was that mystique and that, special thing of running into someone or knowing, like you said, seeing what their favorite band was. Now you know everything about everybody. And you realize I don't like a lot of these people. And it sucks because it ruins your enjoyment of their music, unfortunately. It does.
Dude, I have a handful of bands now that I can't listen to because of their fucking social media.
Absolutely, man.
And I love them. I mean, dude, and I know I'm going outside the topic to the 80s because I know that world a touch better. But if there was social media in 1980, do you really think a band like Motley Crue could have become the biggest band in the world?
Exactly.
I think they would have been. I think they would have had some hits, but they would have been like a Warrant type of a band, or a Sponge to throw it to this era. They wouldn't have been a huge band just because they were hateable.
Yep.
It had nothing to do with it. It's like Machine Head. Machine Head was the band that should have replaced Pantera. They were right at the same level. They were right there. Pantera dies their death before Damage Plan starts, not the death, but the band death.
Band death.
Machine Head was right there to do it. And what happened? We learned too much about Rob Flynn.
Yep. No, you're right.
And now they're in the same. They're lower than Deer and Gray or something on this list.
I know. I mean, look at it. It's
or they're on level with Deer and Gray.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is Deer and Gray?
Deer and Gray. That's that Japanese band. You remember them at all?
No.
Oh, you
I
don't?
I don't remember them.
I remember they came out about late 2000s. I remember I had a buddy who was into. They were touring. You know who got them big was Deftones. Deftones
Okay.
took them out.
Yeah.
You know, they have like that kind of similar style. Their stuff's okay. It's not bad, but yeah, they're a Japanese band. I had a minute over here where they were opening for some bands. But yeah, again, but again, like you said, the fact that they're on the same level is, or even a band like Terror, which is an underground, hardcore band. You know what I mean? It's been around for years. It really says something, man. I mean, and you're right. And unfortunately, like you said, the social media has just killed the mystique. And just because you're right, like just Motley Crue, like you said, what was the one thing everybody like knew about Motley Crue that gave them that interest in them, even though everyone knew they were fucking, because they were wild party animals.
Yeah.
And they were just out of control guys. Now, if we knew they were such assholes like we read about in the books or now see through podcasts and through everything, minus Mick Mars, we all know, I mean, Mick seems like a cool guy, but the other guys, forget it. Like you said, I don't think they'd have half of the audience they did.
Probably
Absolutely
not.
Probably not.
No.
Yeah.
And if you look at the guys that have stayed off social media their whole career, they're all the fairly big bands. The biggest one on this list, Metallica.
Yeah.
What is the overriding thing? Those guys don't post anything about their personal life.
Mm-hmm.
All you ever see is guess what, friends, we're going to Australia. That's all you see from them. You never see, oh my God, I can't vote for this guy or
exactly.
None of that.
None of it.
And that's why they're the biggest band in the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I had an interest in music always.
It's always kind of been around me some way, shape, or form.
5 minutes sitting on a drum set, man, change your life.
This is the same black guitar that Marty McFly plays in Back to the Future.
I love the feeling I get in front of the freaking full stack here, just the vibration, there's something to it.
I'm lucky because I do have a little bit of a tap into the Fu Manchu lore, into the Nebula lore.
In order to keep things going, you kind of have to like start playing the game a little bit, like the business game.
Everybody has to get through a day-to-day, and how do you exist and how do you get by?
As far as getting people to commit to bands, it's tough to keep a lot together these days, for sure.
Still sleeping on people's floor, that's still a reality.
Probably also playing with some of the best people I've ever played with. The creative juices don't stop. It just keeps going.
For me, it's just finding a balance of how much time I'm spending with my family versus how much time I'm spending working.
It's this validation that what you're doing actually has merit.
Obviously, we're a little long in the tooth, and we've been doing this for a minute, and now we can kind of do what we want. We don't need a record company. I'll do it myself. I'll do it the way I want to.
Just always be cool. Just be respectful. Those are your people. They're connecting to you on some level, even if they don't look like you.
It's got to happen, or else I'll go crazy. Go crazy one way or another, I might as well, not go crazy if I can play music.
Maybe one day I'll have a Porsche, but until that day, I'll drive a Chevy.
There you go.
All right.